Yes, it's very nice today. We've got a bit more clouds coming in now, I suppose. We've had good weather for 4 days or so now, so we can't really complain. The sheep are all enjoying it. What are you digging for, mister? Hello, Buster. Hello, Brambles. Oh, your mum loves it. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad she's enjoying it. I hope you will as well. Oh, Brambles are such a big sheep. He's such a fluffy sheep. He's got a very ratty little tail. So the sheep are hard at work today. Generally they'll get sheared sometime middle to end of May, beginning of June. That's the usual time. So not too long now. Probably a good thing. If we have much warmer weather, they'll probably be feeling it a bit more. See his horns. He's got a good horn on that side, and he's got a funny little horn on this side. It's going to be Mr. Asymmetric horns. They may grow a little bit more, but they're Herdwick cross, and Herdwick are quite small sheep in the first place, so they're not going to get massive. We don't really need sheepdogs here because there's only a few sheep, and we don't really need to chase them into doing anything. They'll just follow us and don't really need to be coerced very much. It's easy enough to guide them with a bucket of food or whatever if you need to. Yeah, I suspect we'll lose the weather as well at some point. That's why I've done more or less nothing except sit outside with the sheep for the last few days, because these days are rare and you have to take advantage of them. It'll be rainy again soon enough. Yeah, I used to have a border collie years ago. It's a very popular breed of dog around here with so much sheep farming going on, but never really used her to deal with the sheep because I didn't really need to. But they're a nice breed, very smart. You're going to sit down next to me. Okay, here we are. He's very sociable, Buster. Are you burping? You are burping. Fly on your horn. It'll be bucket time soon. Then we'll have a bucket. They don't really need buckets this time of year, but we give them buckets because they like it. It's anymore. What's anymore? Yes, we find them very calming to do, and it's quite nice we can share that with people. Being around sheep is a very calming thing. You can't really be very stressed when you're around these animals. I've had some people occasionally ask me why I do it every day on YouTube. It's just, well, you know, some people like to see it. They tend to get about 100 views a day, which is fine by me. Main thing we've had over the winter is some hoof problems. There are some cracked hooves and still a couple that we need to sort out. These two are still kneeling every now and again. And we're gradually getting through it, but it's just because the weather's been so wet. It's been really bad for their hooves. But we're trimming and spraying as we go along. Apart from that, everybody's mostly been fine. Weirdest thing we had to call the vet for earlier was a couple of months ago. Dom was in distress and we couldn't work out why. And I called out the emergency vet on the weekend. He was obviously really, really in quite severe pain, and I didn't know what was causing it. And the vet looked at him and took his temperature and everything, and he was fine, physically. And then she said, turn him over. And she inspected a part of his personal anatomy, and he'd managed to get a bit of wool wrapped round the end of it somehow, and it was obviously causing him a great deal of pain. And she undid this particular knotty problem, as it were, and within a few minutes he was fine again. But it's the weirdest thing. I've never heard of that happening to a sheep, but she'd seen it before. I mean, it was nice that she could sort him out so quickly and he had instant relief, but a strange little problem, and it cost me £100 for a call out. But generally they've been good. He knocked this horn off a couple of times when he was younger, and that looks worse than it really is, because it looks, you get all blood down his face when it happened. It looks horrible, but he didn't seem to even notice it at all, really. But now this bit seems to have grown back quite strong, so hopefully he'll keep it now. This one's fine and normal. Yeah, I really felt for him. Once I found out what was going on, it was like, oh dear. No wonder he was in such distress. But anyway, as I said, it was good that he could at least get immediate relief. And if anything like that ever happens again, I know, so at least have a look. But saying all the years I've had sheep, I've never seen that before. Yes, he's been practicing with it on my knee every now and again. I can confirm it's quite solid. How old are they? Well, the two little ones, Buster and Dom, I think they'll be a year old. Well, I think Buster's 5 weeks younger than Dom, and Dom was born, I think, about April last year, and so Buster's going to be a year old in this coming month, well, this month now. Of the others, Skippy the boss is probably, when did he get in? He's probably about 7 or 8 years old, I suppose. Panda is a couple of years younger. Lucky is the same age as Skippy, I think. Little Dom has been a bit limpy the last couple of days, but we've looked at his feet and there's no sign of rot and there's no injury, and I think sometimes just in boisterous play they get the equivalent of a twisted ankle. He seems to be improving slowly. He's at least up and about now, but that's just rams being rams, I think. Yes, I mean, normally he's running about, he's obviously a little bit sore, but at least now he is standing up and grazing. Yesterday he was sitting down all day and barely getting up at all, so he'll be fine. And so physically there's nothing visibly wrong. We've checked quite closely his front feet. We may give them a precautionary spray tonight just in case there's any rot up there, but I don't think there is. But we've got a bit of spray, it can't do any harm. Give them a touch on those 2 front hooves. Well, Giles is fine, he's indoors just working on the scoreboard system for the Atari VCS release of iRobot, which is nearly complete now. That's the last version to be released, all the other versions are out already. Oh yeah, it does look nice on a big telly. It looks very nice in VR as well when you're inside all that tunnel, if you ever get a chance to ever go on the PSVR 2 version. I think Giles would explode if I tried to get into it. I think he's had quite enough iRobot for a while now, and I think he wants to move on to something else. As do I, really. I'm very happy with it, and I still love to play it, but we have been... The final stretch always seems to take quite a long time. You're almost at the end, and you're almost at the end, but there's always a bit more to do, and getting through 6 versions of CERT at the same time has been quite stressful. What he is thinking of doing, once this is out, the pressure will be off him a little bit, and I could be starting on a new thing, and he could be tinkering around with whoever he wants to tinker around with. I know he quite wants to look at getting Polybius into PSVR 2, which would be nice. It's slightly bent, look. Yeah, he likes to moan a bit, but then he always gets the job done. I think he does take a degree of pride in it. I mean, we had just had a call with Atari about an hour or so ago, and they were telling him that apparently his is the only non-Unity game which has working scoreboards in it, because he's actually reverse engineered the way that all the Unity games do it, and has made it work on our stuff as well, on our proprietary engine. So I think he's quite proud of that kind of stuff, and also that our engine tends to be quite efficient. It always runs well. You tend to get high frame rates even on lower end systems, and I think he's quite proud of that too. Oh, hi there, yeah, the boys are all happy. Glad you're enjoying iRobot. So we've just been talking about different versions of it. Giles is finishing off the VCS version now. He's indoors doing that while I'm sitting here stroking his sheep. I think the rules for if a sheep curls up next to you, it's a bit like if a cat sits on your lap, you're not allowed to move until the sheep says you're allowed to move. Panda came over earlier on for a switch while we were sat over there, and he actually sat on me. And he's massive. A sheep that size sits on you, you really know it. Yes, it's nice now there's a decent choice of engines that you can use to get into it and end up to give you multi-platform capabilities as well. I highly recommend having a go on something like that. Most important thing is just to enjoy yourself. Make the kind of game that you want to make. Oh, I'm going to have to move a bit this because my leg's going to sleep. Reposition myself. There we are. Going to lie down next to you now. Oh yeah, unfortunately people never get a chance to see sheep in this kind of state, because normally when you see sheep, it's sheep that are as a flock and their only interaction with other people is, you know, they're being bossed around and chased hither and yon and forced to do things, and so they're always in a kind of continual state of anxiety. But once they're allowed to drop out of that state and you interact with them as companion animals, they're very affectionate and they love fuss, they love cuddles. They're like giant cats in some respects, in that they'll come and rub on your legs and curl up next to you. I'll say some of them will even sit in your lap. And it's so nice to go out in the morning and you see all these creatures and their first instinct is to come running towards you for digested biscuits and fuss and cuddles. And then it's quite strange when you go out and see other people's sheep and they catch sight of you and immediately run away. It's like, oh, it's not how they are. And Buster here just loves being around people. He loves fuss and company and cuddles. And even if he's not receiving any biscuits, he just likes to be close to you. And that's part of the reason I do these videos and the YouTube things, is so that people can see that side of sheep and see what they're like when you treat them as companion animals. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure the same thing is true of cows as well. They're normally, I think, quite gentle and affectionate animals. I'd love to get a Highland cow, but they're perhaps a bit too large for the two of us to maintain. There was actually a garage at the top of the hill where, if I wanted to, I could walk into that garage and buy a Highland cow, because the lady who runs the garage also raises a herd of Highland cattle. No, I mean, the only ones, coincidentally enough, or strangely enough, only two of them are fixed. The boss of the flock is one of those two, Skippy, and he doesn't act like he's fixed at all. He's the boss, he tells everybody else what to do. And Lucky, he's fixed, and he is quite quiet and noticeably less boisterous than the rest of the flock. But they're not super duper aggressive. They will argue amongst themselves. They will clonk heads, and sometimes Brambles has a particularly soft head, and sometimes we'll get cuts on his head when he clonks heads with the boss. But nobody's really seriously hurt themselves, and they're very polite with me or with us. They can be arguing amongst themselves, and I can go in the middle of them, and they won't give me any trouble. They don't see me as any kind of competitor, I don't think. So they're very polite. Yeah, so it's a side that most people never see, and so yeah, it's nice to be able to show it. And it's nice that people watch the streams and that I watch the videos, get to know the individual sheep. I've even had people send them gifts, which normally consist of packets of digested biscuits. They've had visitors. Are you burping? You are burping. When Buster arrived last October, so it's quite sad the first day they get here because they don't really know anybody, and you can see they're a bit scared and a bit dislocated, but it only took them a couple of days to settle in. And normally the measure of that is like how long it takes before they eat their first digested biscuit, and normally it's like 3 or 4 days. With Buster, he was eating biscuits on the second day. So, and he's been just about the most outwardly affectionate sheep ever since then. Plus the most biscuit hoover as well. He puts away a prodigious amount of digested biscuits given half a chance. Yes. And they tend to breathe quite fast. I mean, the heat's going off a bit now, so I don't think he's overheating. They will slow down when they're getting sleepy. Oh, he's getting up. Oh. Okay, so I can get up as well. Ugh. Evening. There's Dom. He's chewing his cud. I'll probably go out of range now because I've got to go. The Wi-Fi's at the end of this field over there, and I've got to go through a gap over there. And I may well lose my contact when I go around there. I'll try, but if I fall off, that's why. The other sheep are starting to move back here because it's getting close to bucket time. Speaking of which, I'll have to pick this up and take it with me. Haven't really heard them snore, no. They tend to be reasonably quiet. I've napped with them on quite a few occasions. It's quite nice on a pleasant day just to lie down amongst them and nap alongside them. Right, Lucky? There's Panda. Brambles behind him. There's the dog. Madam. That dusty bum, yeah. She rolls a lot. Yes, it'd be nice to show a bit of their evening routine. Everybody sees them in the morning normally. Yes, it's that nice time of year where nobody's going hungry, which is always nice. Also, it's quite nice in the summer because when there's so much food around, it means that we can actually get away for a long weekend occasionally, as long as everybody's healthy when we go. We know that nobody's going hungry in the couple of days we might be away, whereas in the winter you've got to be here to feed them a couple of times a day, so you can't really get away. Yeah, we just want them to have a happy life, really. These two up to. Hello, Panda. Panda's unreasonably woolly. He's super fluffy. No, I mean, if we wanted to go away for a longer period, we could do it. I mean, we have spoken to our neighbour over there in the next field over. We got on well with him. We've done him a few favours with this and that, and he has said if we ever wanted to get away for a longer break, then he would look after our sheep for a few days. But we're kind of saving that up for a significant thing. We don't. It's not something we want to try and impose on him every year to do. Maybe next year we're thinking of doing it to go back to Brazil to go to the Amazonian Ox Dance Festival again. I'd like to get somebody coming who we trust to do house sitting. That's another option as well. Brambles, your wool is so soft and fluffy. Yeah, well, I thought I'd try it. I haven't really tried it on YouTube before now, so we thought we'd give it another go. And in the morning, we're still going to do the broadcast the video, because I can do those with the GoPro on my head, so you get a proper first-person view of what it's like to be with the sheep in the mornings. But I can't really do a live stream with the GoPro and see the comments at the same time, so it's not really so effective as a live stream. leaf in your wall. Yes, Panda. Panda is quite unreasonably fluffy. Oh, yes, yes. He wants his cuddles. Oh, yes, Panda. He's leaning on me. Oh, was that a sheepy sneeze? I think it was. Oh, Panda. Yeah, we haven't had much barbecue this year yet, but I'm sure we will. We actually bought a new barbecue a couple of years ago, and it's still in its package in the garage because Giles made one out in the garden out of a few old bricks and actually prefers to use that than the one we bought. So lucky that he does like his cuddles. He's a bit more shy in coming up for them than some of the sheep, but he will do it. But I mean, he was probably the least socialised of all the sheep when he came here. It took him a while before he became really comfortable with getting fuss, but now he does come up for fuss. He's just chilled out, and he doesn't push himself forward, but give him a chance, he'll come up and enjoy a nice scritch. No, Buster, it doesn't automatically fill itself. He knows it's nearly bucket time. He's going to go and make sure that one's not empty. Got to check. Distracted by some grass. Here we are. No, still not full yet. Maybe there's a crumb or two in there. Yes, Panda. Oh, that was the owl. You could hear the owl. Yeah, definitely the owl. Yeah, Buster was a bit thin when he first came here. I was a bit concerned. But over the course of winter, he's been well fed. I don't shudder to think how many packets of digestive biscuits he's consumed over the winter, but it's quite a high value, I should think. And yes, now he's starting to feel a bit properly bulky. Yeah, he was too thin when he got here, but he's fine now. Yeah, all ours get digestive biscuits every morning. Which generally they like. Sometimes they'll go through periods of going off them, all except Buster. Buster will always eat them. But sometimes, like for a couple of days, some of the others will go off them a little bit, but they always come back on in the end. We actually did ask a representative of McVitie's back in the old Twitter days. We came across one of them there and actually asked them on Twitter if they were interested in sponsoring our flock of sheep just by giving us some biscuits, but unfortunately they weren't interested at all. They have had rich teas. I mean, sometimes if for whatever reason there is a digestive biscuit shortage, they have been known to have rich teas. Buster, again, he doesn't care really. Buster's going to eat whatever biscuits you put in front of him, I think. But the rest, some will have them and some won't. They definitely tend to prefer the real McVitie's digestives as opposed to own brand alternatives. Actually, next time I go to London, I know if you go to Fortnum and Mason's, you can get a tin of extremely posh digestive biscuits. Cost about 12 quid for a box of a tin of digestive biscuits. But I'm going to get some just to see if the sheep like them. Even Buster's kneeling a bit. Maybe you need a bit of a spray as well, mister. We'll be giving some spray in a few minutes when we put the buckets out. Yeah, just heard about the texture. I think they don't like about the own brand ones. They definitely prefer the real thing. But yeah, so if you've never had digestive biscuits, then you definitely have some because they are lovely. They're not a fancy biscuit, but they're just a very well made, nicely tasty biscuit which goes very well with a cup of tea. Yes, we'll give you a spray in a minute, mister. Yes, Buster. Look at that lovely horn. Look at those thick little ears. The sprays for sometimes they get a soreness in their hooves, and it's kind of it's not a dangerous infection or something, but it gives them sore feet basically. There's a very effective spray for it that you get at the vets called we call it the blue spray because it's bright turquoise colour. And they spray that up inside their hooves, and generally they get better. For like 90% of limping sheep problems can be cured with an application of the blue spray. Sometimes you need to go a bit further and actually trim the hooves as well. You see, he likes to test out his hoof on my knee. Oh, his horn on my knee. Clonk, clonk, clonk. Yes, I can assure you it's working, mister. They go through about a pack and a half a day. Hello, Panda. We're all checking to see if that has magically filled itself, which it hasn't. Those two having a discussion. I don't know, it's some kind of antiseptic, antifungal thing. No, you can only get it from the vets. You can't buy it in the farm shop. But yes, it's generally very effective. What we tend to do is get them in a stable, spray it on when they're in the stable, because they're easier to handle when they're in the stable. Then shut them in for half an hour or so, because quite often it's wet outside. You don't want them to wander off straight outside and rinse it all off in the wet ground. So leave them inside for half an hour or so for the stuff to take its effect. And generally the next day they're good again. But the only trouble with this particular little infection is it hangs around and it spreads between them. So if somebody gets it, somebody else will get it. And they'll pass it around amongst themselves and back and forth, and it will keep popping up, especially over winter. So yeah, it's a slight pain in the ass to have to deal with it all the time, but it's not dangerous. It's just annoying. Madam, there she is. Her name is Autumn. But it's kind of been traditional for all the ladies in our flock, all the hod ladies in our flock, to be known as Madam, because they're all proper ladies. There she is. I think she's going to roll. This is her rolling spot, but she doesn't know. Maybe she's not committed at the moment. She's thinking about it. Maybe she doesn't want to do it when she's being watched. Yeah, she's always dusty. If you do a bit of donkey arse bongo, you generally raise a cloud. Right, Skip. Skippy the boss. Under the fluffy. I don't know if it's ever been used on a TV show. It's just sometimes I'll be sitting at my desk in the morning and it's like an alarm clock. You can hear the donkey going off. You realise it's time to go out and go around with the biscuits. And people like it when I'm doing my sheep time videos if they begin with a nice bit of donkey song. She's not doing anything at the moment. I think she's in standby mode. Oh yes, so I've got some train journeys coming up actually, so hopefully I'll do some more of those fairly soon. She's not that old as donkeys go. I think she's about 15 or 16, but I think they can live a lot longer than that. Where's she going? She's going to eat some things. We got a llama. Oh, we got a pair of llamas back in 2001. I just always fancied having some llamas around the place, and there's a place the other side of Carmarthen, probably about sort of 20-30 miles away from here, where they had a flock of llamas. So we've got two. Yes, Panda. Here he comes now, in fact, there he is. He's been working on the scoreboards for the Atari VCS version of iRobot. And now he's come out. Yes.
I was keeping a tab and stuff.
Yes, I've mentioned that you were working on the scoreboard stuff for the VCS.
Yeah, I give them tomorrow. I'll give them the builder and start checking the stuff and having a look about. Oh, my best friend. Guys, I can't squeeze two sheep simultaneously.
Yes, hello Brambles. Yes, you're lovely too. Whoops.
I was hoping, but I was sure that he wasn't close. Dom is where he is, more or less. Not coming close to the stable.
He's round the corner, yeah.
We'll do it there.
Yeah, we can just quickly.
Yeah, I've been pushed by 2 rounds.
Yeah, somebody was saying earlier that they didn't realise sheep could be this affectionate. But it's nice that we can show that.
Let's see what happens.
I think they love us both really. I don't think they really have favourites.
We love them all the same.
Yeah. Bonk, yes, Panda.
Yeah, I can see it finally. See Panda is much more dry on the back.
Yes.
Yeah, I chopped everything I could chop. Give it a trajectory.
Panda, you're going to push me over. Look at that spotty nose.
Look at the big round. What the spaces. People might think it's strange.
And I'm sure they notice when there's only one of us here instead of both of us, and the routine is always slightly different.
Yeah, they definitely seem to remember while you are away. They seem to be all a bit confused.
Yeah, it's out with their normal routine. Sheep are very much creatures of habit. They like things to happen in a nice order every day. And if that order is interrupted or interfered with, they can be a bit anxious for a little while.
Keep you leaning. Maybe tomorrow we can try to give a bit of a spray to Bastard as well.
Yeah, even Buster could perhaps do a little bit.
It's strange because I've seen all of them and I would say that the hoof was perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing physically wrong.
A little bit out of shape, but very little. I mean.
Yes, Panda.
Yeah, it's just perfect as really when it's warmer they get a bit more itchy because they are so demanding.
You can make Panda scritch if you get him in the right place.
There's another animal that quite often doesn't want food, they want attention.
Yeah, well, it's been fun. Have a good evening. I hope you have a nice dinner. We'll be finishing at some point ourselves in the not too distant future because we're going to do buckets for the boys.
Yeah, try to spray a little bit on. I was missing really during all the winter we couldn't do this.
Oh, sheep really love to snuggle. They definitely do.
Oh yes.
But they have to trust you a lot before they let you do it because obviously they're a prey animal and normally their primary defence is to run away. So the sheep has to really feel comfortable before they'll let you hold them. As you can see, our sheep are fairly comfortable.
Our sheep, they know how to get advantage of us.
And earlier on this afternoon, Panda was sitting on me over there. When he sits on you, he's a big weight. You may have a lot of fluff, but there's a fair bit of sheep inside as well.
I would always say the sheep are really dense, are like made of lead. You might think the little sheep you can be able to lift it. You really can't.
And Lucky's definitely better since we sprayed his hooves yesterday.
Well, it takes a few days.
Yeah, but yesterday he was really very stiff and couldn't really hardly move around at all.
I had a look at his hooves. They weren't looking bad.
No, I mean, again, everybody could probably do with a bit more of a trim, but maybe.
We'll try again, Skippy. I think there's still the front hooves. There is one of the back will need a little bit of adjustment, but.
Oh, yes, Skippy, he's pushing. Oh.
I have some falling sheep.
Oh.
They say they found only 2 bags.
Alright. Yes, boys.
See, you can go on for hours like that when they are in the mood.
They'll generally be a bit standoffish with strangers at first. You know, if you come in and you're around us and you offer digestive biscuits, then they'll get used to a bit quicker that way. But they probably wouldn't let a stranger come in and just grab them and hold
definitely
them.
it's not going to happen.
You might get a scritchy at first, but it takes a little while before you get a cuddle.
Say probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly suspect that maybe those two in boisterous play have twisted their ankle or something, but it can't do any harm to give them a spray as well. Yeah, I mean, he's moving more than he was yesterday. He's still obviously stiff, you can see, but yesterday he was hardly moving a couple of inches.
The only thing I can think of it must have been because he's been jumping there and there.
Well, yeah, you know what he's like. He likes to jump up on top of things, doesn't he? He like levitates a lot of the time. It's Dom. You can see he's gradually getting better. I mean, he's not quite right yet. He's staggering a bit, but...
Well, anyway, we'll give him a spray,
Yeah.
we'll give it a look.
But he's certainly happier than he was yesterday.
No, we'll try to fix you up as best as we can.
I'm sure he'll be fine in a few days.
I mean, if it would have been all muddy and all, I could understand, but with the weather we had in the last 3 days.
I suspect he's just been playing with somebody else. He's been jumping around and he's probably landed a bit awkwardly and twisted his leg or whatever.
Also, he likes to go up and down the...
Because he's quite a boisterous little thing when he gets going.
Did you explain what was happening this morning with Autumn? Oh, she was pushing me down.
Oh yeah, Awesome had the farrier this morning. She's generally quite good when she has the farrier, but for some reason, the last hoof today, she was giving us jip.
Anyway, we'll
He's
give it
definitely happier now
we'll
because
give
he's
it a,
moving.
yeah, we'll give it a spray
Yeah.
and we'll have a look. But I already gave it quite a bit of a look when he was sitting down. I couldn't see anything
Yeah,
wrong
I
with
mean,
it.
yesterday he was just sitting down all day and
I checked the knee, I checked
very
the sub.
begrudgingly moving. He's limping a bit, but he's a lot better than he was.
We'll give him a spray. If he gets close to the stable, it's better because we'll do it in the stable. I can actually start getting the bucket to water the fish, you know. I can do it. To collect. There are buckets down here.
Yeah, I mean, we generally know when we have to call in outside assistance. I mean, small things like hoof spray and things like that we can deal with ourselves. But when he had that peculiar problem I was talking about before, and I just literally found him against the fence over there, lying on his side, grunting in pain. I had no idea what was going on. And then I immediately called the vet because I didn't know what was happening. I mean, he was in such distress. I thought maybe he was going to die or something. I thought maybe he got poisoned or, something like that. But yes, if they're in obvious distress and you don't know what to do, then you call the vet first and ask questions later. Yeah, he's definitely improved since yesterday. Oh, what, the cow that can't moo? Oh, boys, steady. These are sheep who are aware that it's going to be bucket time shortly. Yeah, Dom's limping a bit, but yesterday he could barely put his foot down. So it definitely makes me think he's just twisted his ankle or whatever in boisterous play. But we'll give him a precautionary spray anyway. I'm afraid when we do buckets, we're going to do it over by the stables there, and I'm going to have to end the broadcast at that point because the access point is over there and there's a whole bunch of bushes in between that and the stables area, which is up there, and I will lose my signal for sure. And there's no mobile signal here, so it's got to be done on a Wi-Fi access point. We've actually got network wiring all down the edge of the field to go to the corner there. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back on form in a few days. And yeah, he does like to leap. Skippy's got this little crease down the end of his nose. He's always had that. I don't know why. Yeah, so now we've got summer and some nice weather, and it's actually nice to be outdoors with them. I'll definitely do some more. And we always do sheep time regardless in the mornings as an offline thing, but yeah, it's nice to do a live one every now and again. I kind of miss the periscope days, they were quite nice. Lucky's gone to the scritching station. Sheep enjoy fallen trees because they can rub themselves on them and scratch their own itches. That's Lucky's doing here. Right, mister. Oh, I can hear clonking of heads coming from over there. Now you two. Yes, we're just happy we can. Oh, boys, that we can share the peace with people. Having said that, they immediately start fighting. That's a Skippy maintaining his position as boss. And putting Panda in his place. Ooh, donkey's going off. Yeah, they do that grunting noise when they're discussing matters of state, I always say. Okay, I think I heard Giles say it's bucket time, so I'm going to have to finish now. But yes, we'll come back and do more very shortly. Hopefully, well, I don't know if the weather's going to hold over the next few days, but we'll do it when we can. But anyway, we'll see us every morning, and we'll do more broadcasts soon. Giles is calling, I better finish. Right, I'll finish off here and we'll catch you another day.